Yo, what's good? My name is Doni. I'm an artist and music producer, and today I'm back with another beat tutorial video for you guys. And today we're going to be remaking another track off of Kanye West's latest album, DONDA, using a free online-based software called Soundtrap. Last time we remade No Child Left Behind, so today I just thought we'd go on to one of my other favorite songs from the album, which is Hurricane, featuring The Weeknd and Lil Baby, which is a certified slap in my opinion. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to remake just this, like the part where it's like Lil Baby's part, not necessarily the whole thing. I was kind of messing around with the intro here, so this is kind of what I had for the intro already. I won't play it now, but if you guys do want another tutorial of how to do like the intro and stuff like that, like when like the opening part of the song and things like that, let me know and I could do another video breaking that down, because if I tried to put like the entire song in this video, it would take a very long time. So we're just gonna stick with like the main part with Lil Baby's part. As you guys can see, there's quite a lot going on here on my screen. So first things first, before I break down exactly what I'm going to be doing, just a reminder as well that I am remaking this beat for free. Absolutely no money spent at all, using this free DAW or digital audio workstation called Soundtrap. It's free to use. I'll leave a link in the description if you guys are interested in signing up and interested in making beats and learning how to produce music and stuff like that. I would highly recommend this software. So that's what we're going to be using today to remake this beat. So first things first, before I break down all the details and all the instruments and effects and things like that I'm using, I'm going to play you guys what I have already here in this highlighted section right here, and then I'll go in and break down exactly what I've done so that you guys can hopefully, you know, remake it yourself or do something different with it. But yeah, this is what I've done so far. Here it is. So that's basically what I have so far, or what I came up with. So this part is pretty much the same like throughout Lil Baby's part. So kind of if you want to like take this and I don't know if you're interested in rapping over it or doing something with it, I mean it's kind of consistent throughout. It doesn't really change too much. But without further ado, let's actually break down what we have going on here. So the first instruments that we're using, and also just to let you guys know as well, in case you couldn't tell already, obviously these sounds and effects that I'm using are not the exact ones used in this song. They're just based off of whatever I had to work with in Soundtrap. That's what I used for to get the sounds that I was just wanting to match it as closely as I could to the song. But just so you guys know, these are not the exact samples, sounds, effects that are used on the actual song, just so you guys know. But anyway, let's get into it. So our first instrument that we have is obviously the organ, and it sounds a little bit something like this. So I'll show you guys the chords that I'm playing throughout here as well. These are the chords here. Boom, boom, boom. And for a lot of the effects here, especially with the main instruments like the organs and things like that, a ton of reverb is what you want to put on these, because again, you want them to like fill up as much space as possible, and that's what the reverb really helps to do. If you could use this one here, or there's a ton of other options. Like if you choose the room option, there's a ton of different options that you can use for, you know, how you want it to sound. I just went with this one. This is kind of the basic one. I didn't want to go too like into detail and stuff like that, or spend too much time on it, so I just kind of used the basic one right here. Next we have another organ. Also I forgot to mention, sorry, the preset that I'm using for that first one is actually the 8888 organ fast. That is that organ. So if you go in the instrument presets tab, click on the keyboards and then go to organs, it is actually the first organ option that's there. So it's this one right here. That's our main organ, and then our complementary organ, or the one that kind of goes right under it, is the soft organ. So you'll go on the instrument presets again, go to keyboards, organs, and so this was the first one we used. So we're going to scroll down a little bit and you'll find the soft organ one right here. If you did watch the No Child Left Behind remake, you do know that we used this one for the same purpose. This was kind of a complementary organ. I like it because it just sounds a little bit more spacious. I'll play it by itself so you guys can hear, and then I'll play it with the first organ just so you can kind of hear the difference and why I like it so much. So it just sounds like that, and it's actually the same chords as the first organ, just a different instrument. So now playing them together, they sound like that. Yep, so those are the two organs that we're going to be using in this track. Next, we have another, it's not an organ, but it's still playing like the same chords, just helping to build on the layers. Usually, commonly what you'll see with, or a lot of music producers do, is a lot of the stuff has a lot of layers, and that's just to, make sure that, the sound sounds really good, and, you have a lot, but at the same time, not a lot going on. It just helps to make sure that, your music doesn't sound too empty. It doesn't sound like it's missing something. It's just always making sure that your space is filled, that, there's always something going on. It just helps to, it just helps everything to sound a lot, just a lot more full and rich, if that makes sense. So what I've also added here is another synth. So if you go on the instrument presets, go to synth and then go to pads. I'm actually using the Challenger pad right here. And I'll show you guys what it sounds like by itself, and then I'll play it with the rest. So it sounds like this. And then with the rest. See, doesn't that sound beautiful? Oh my goodness, no, that sounds amazing. Literally, if the entire song was just that, I would be perfectly fine with that. And so for the effects on this one, there's a little bit of delay on this one. This one was like already preset onto like the instrument. I didn't actually put that there myself. I just tampered with the reverb a little bit. And of course, as I said earlier, there's a ton of other effects here that you can use if you want to kind of tamper around and mess with whatever you think you will fit better. That's what I did though. Of course, you guys are free to put your own spin on it and, test and experiment with different kinds of sounds and things like that. Next, we have our basses. All right. Now, our first bass here is the dub bass. It's the one that I use, and I'm also using the VW bass alongside it as well. The VW bass is kind of like the main bass, and the dub bass is kind of more of a complementary bass, just again, make the sound or make the beat sound a lot more rich and things like that. So this is the VW bass by itself. And then with the dub bass, it sounds like this. Yeah, so the dub bass is just there to kind of just, make sure that, the bass is really getting there, but at the same time, not muffling everything. So it's a little bit lighter sounding. So those are our basses that we're going to be using for this beat. And also just for I forgot to show you guys the notes as well. So these are the notes for the VW bass that I'm using, and it's actually the same, or if not the same, it's very close, similar to the dub bass as well, not too far off. Again, really, if you just like duplicate, go press this little button over here and then press duplicate track. You can duplicate another track on there, right? And then if you want to change it to a different kind of bass, you can do that and still keep the same notes. So that's kind of what that's what I really like to do to help make like my layering and stuff like that a lot easier. So those are our basses that we're going to use now. And also, actually, while I'm on the topic of bass, I'll actually go to our 808s that we're going to be using. They're very subtle in the song, and also just bear in mind as well, the 808 selections on Soundtrap are a little bit kind of they're not the best. So I was just like, I was just trying to go off of, again, what I had to work with, what's the best that's here. So the 808, the main 808 that I'm using is the 808E. So to get to 808s, you're gonna go to the instrument presets, go to guitar and bass, and then you'll see bass, kick, 808, and it has a bunch of options for like different 808s here. So I'm using the 808E, so that's like my main one, and it sounds like this. With the 808 East, I actually have another 808 because you can, as you can hear, the 808 East is like very, very direct. It's not very spacious, if that makes sense. So I've added this 808 provider, which helps to add a little bit more, just more, I guess, makes the bass drag out a little bit more. And it complements the 808 East pretty well. So that's what that's there for. And then also on top of that, we have our kick drum. For my kick, I'm actually using the Kino one. So if you go to the drums options on the instrument presets, go to machines, and then go to Kino, that's the one that I'm using here. And so all together they sound like this. Yep, so those are our 808s, and the actual pattern is right here. That's what I have been working with, so it looks a little something like this. And again, remember, if you're using Soundtrap or really any digital or workstation, if you just drag your mouse, click exactly where you want to put the note, and then if you need to zoom closer to kind of like, I don't know, put a note in a more direct position, you could use this to drag it out and things like that. So that's what I've done for all of these stuff, or all of these instruments and things like that. That's the way that you do it. Now for our drums, lastly, our drums. So for the drums, first of all, for our hi-hats, we're using the Queen's Scheme hi-hats. Again, if you go to the drums, machines, Queen's Scheme, that is the one we're using. It sounds a little something like this. Now for this one, I did put on a little bit of a filter just because I felt like they were hitting a little bit too loud. So I just put a little filter just to keep them more in the background a little bit. And for our snares, we're using actually three different snares. The main one is this gritty one right here. It sounds like this. And again, similar to the other ones. So if you're dealing with anything drums, you go to the drums tab. I'm using ones in the machine, but there's other options here. There's kits and then collections and processed drum sounds. I'm using, all of my drums here are using, or are from the ones in the machines tab here. So I'm using the gritty one here. That's my first one. And then the other two snares are kind of complementary snares, just again, kind of fill up the space a lot more. So the second one is the raccoon one. Same one, that's here. It's actually right under Queen's Scheme, actually. And I threw on a little bit of reverb on that one as well, just to, again, add a lot more space. And then the final one I'm using here is the Lucid one. Lucid is right here. And no effects are on that one. Yeah. So those are the drums that we're using. So now I'll kind of like add everything on top just so you guys can kind of hear progressively how everything sounds. So first we're gonna start with our organs. Sorry about the clipping, by the way. And and that is the entire beat right there. So again, this is mainly like the part that Lil Baby is rapping over in the actual song, but that is what I was able to remake here on Soundtrap. Again, not exactly the exact replica of the song, but based off of what I had to work with and the instruments that I had here, this is what I was able to cook up in a couple of hours. So with that being said, that is about it for today's remake video. Again, if you guys want me to show you guys how to do the intro part of the song with like the Weeknd's part, I could do that in a separate video. But yeah, and also if you guys have any other requests for songs that you want me to remake, whether off of Kanye West's latest album or even maybe some other tracks using Soundtrap, let me know. Leave your requests in the comments and I'd be more than happy to check some of it out and see if I can remake them for myself. Leave a like on the video, comment below, whatever you want to say. I really don't care. And yeah, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Walking on the bridge, I throw my sins over the deep end. Sipping to my stomach, hurt this morning, I done lost 3 friends. Early morning, brainstorming, normally I can't sleep in. Sometimes I just wanna restart it, but it all depends. If I'ma be that same young